Hey guys, welcome to the Big Blue United podcast. My name's TJ. I'm here with Dan and Colin. Hey guys, what's going on tonight? Feeling any sort of relief at all, or
no?
It's a celebration.
Yeah, there you go. Dan knows. He knows.
Only the Giants can make the jettisoning of Dave Gettleman not fun.
Yeah.
That it could be a lot more fun, but it wasn't. It was let's have the family and friends on the sideline, have a good old time, smiles, hugs, whatever.
Let me just hop in real quick and do the intro because we have a guest today, so I want to introduce her real quick. Follow Big Blue United, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pigskin Podcast Network at the Pigskin Podnet on Twitter. Make sure you download that DraftKings app because sports betting is now legal in New York, so there's no excuse not to download that DraftKings app tonight. We also have exciting news. We started our own Twitter between the three of us. So basically the Big Blue United Twitter is run by Ian, who's been on the pod a few times. But we finally have our own. So you can follow us at BBU Pod Boys with a Z because, you know, we consider ourselves to be like a 2000 eras boy band. The best we can. I don't know.
I was going to say that we're keeping it real.
Yeah.
Keeping it to the streets.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, sure, totally. And then tonight we have Stephie Smalls with us. I'm sure you already follow her on Twitter, but if you don't, at Stephie Smalls with 3 L's. Stephie, how you doing tonight? What's going on?
I'm doing good. I'm not doing as well as I thought I would on this day, but I'm excited to be back with you guys. This will be a therapeutic evening for all of us.
That's
all we got.
We need it. We need it.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not feeling that bad, and I want to just say that there's 2 things that I'm very happy about today. One is that I don't have to watch any Giants games for the foreseeable future, at least till next year. And 2, Dave Gettleman is no longer the GM of the New York Giants. So you gotta at least. I know there's a situation looming with Joe Judge, etc., which we're gonna get into later. But I just want to start with, how do you feel that Dave Gettleman is not the GM anymore? And Steph, since you're our guest, why don't we start with you?
I feel good. So I will say that this is, I wish he did get a little bit, take some accountability for what he has done to this franchise. I would have loved that. I think everyone on Twitter demanding that. What do you guys want? I mean, we've all seen any presser he's done. We've seen the way that he is. You're not going to get what you want at the end of the day. So just take it as it is. He is retired. He's gone. Thank goodness.
Retired.
Retired. Yes, of course. Whatever. This is soft. It's how this is how things go. But he is gone. So let's hope that things, I don't even know if this fully puts things back on the tracks. It might put us on the tracks and then we're like in standstill, and then it kind of goes from what do they do from here, who do they bring on, but I feel a little bit of relief.
It's like the very minimum they could have done on this Black Monday was let Dave Gettleman walk out in the sunset on his own terms. It's like the guy that wreaked havoc on the Giants for the past 4 years, giving us absolutely nothing to cheer about, gets a respectful send-off. And they do nothing to further indicate where the franchise is going, what their ambitions are, aside leak a couple names of GMs they're requesting interviews with. All of this could have been done 2 months ago, and we would have been in a way better situation. But nonetheless, I think Dave Gettleman, if you were to do a word cloud of the names we've said on this pod for the past 2 years, his name would certainly be the largest. And hopefully we don't have to mention it too much unless we're referring to how he destroyed the roster in coming years and how we have to make up for it. But
I have a theory, and it may be typical or somewhat typical anyway, but I feel like the only reason that they allowed him to have such a jovial send-off is they would be so worried about what he would say about ownership if he was full-on fired. He would probably be such a snake in the grass kind of guy and put all the dirty laundry out there. And I think that's exactly why Mara was not.
Isn't that what D'Angelo Williams said when he came to the Giants?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he would have done it. They would have done it 2 months ago. They probably would have done it 2 months ago, but he had them over the fire.
Yeah.
For
Steph
whatever
made a great
reason.
point. as like lackluster as this end of his tenure at the Giants is, like, what do you really expect would have happened? Do you think he would have come out and been remorseful and apologized to the fans? He would have said nothing, taken zero accountability.
No.
It would have just been.
He's never taken accountability for anything.
It would have been, it would have been.
I mean, look at this too, right? Like one of the last things I remember him saying is, obviously we have more trust in our O-line than you guys. Yeah, because like literally, what did you left us with? Andrew Thomas. Are you crazy? Like there's like, I cannot believe that's the one thing that goes through my head over and over again is obviously we trust them. What do you mean? So, and it's a shame that he really just gets to walk on out. You promised us hog mollies X amount of years ago. You have left us in more despair than I could ever imagine, sir. I bid you adieu. See you later.
Hey, he's got 1 foot in Massachusetts. He'll never step foot in the tri-state area ever again. He won't be allowed.
You can't.
Good riddance, as far as I'm concerned. I think I just want to touch quickly on what you said, Colin, about ownership being like tepid about doing these things. And I think you're 100% right. And I know I said we'll talk about Judge later, but just to like make a comment here, it's like, this is why he is like in limbo basically. And they're coming out and saying that he's going to, the next GM will have the decision to fire him. We're not going to do it because John Mara is such a nice guy that he can't possibly do this himself or do the right thing. And I think this is why they've taken so long to do the right thing. I mean, even if they're going to at all, but Gettleman is gone. I'm pleased with it. In terms of the guys that are coming in after him, I know we've had a few names out there for guys that they're going to request to interview, as Dan said. So let me rattle off a few of those names.
Wait.
Go ahead, Dan, if you want to go.
That's how we're letting Dave Gettleman off after all these years with just like wrapping it up in 2 minutes. This like accounted for like 5 hours plus, not even like 20 hours of our dialogue. We got to get some shots off. We can't just move on to the next thing. Like, I think the Mara's approach to Gettleman is totally indicative and shown where they let him have the party on the sideline where he had like 20 family members hanging out. Did you see him like posturing on the sidelines with his hands in his big fat pockets, just staring at his team with his gut out, just like smiling in some sort of like misplaced pride of what he put together, like looking at his work. It just made me sick. Like they fired Jerry Reese in the middle of the season. Jerry Reese had a winning record and won 2 Super Bowls. Gettleman gets to throw a party and laugh on the sidelines when we're running QB sneaks and second down in our own territory. The team is marginally considered an NFL team. There's nothing, no identity, nothing he proposed to do succeeded. He's an idiot, an ignoramus, a Luddite, an anti-intellectual, a regressive, just anchor weight to the bottom of the sea. There's nothing redeemable about this human being. Go back to Boston, you scumbag. I hate him so much.
You know what aggravates me?
Oh,
it's like they don't care, right? Like it's so obvious. Like you have no remorse for any. Like Mira, even like seeing them on Sunday was very aggravating. It was very frustrating to me to see all these clips. You're just walking. No one's doing anything. No one's making a statement. They just want to go about. Do you see what you did to our beautiful franchise? Like, do you know where we were and what you've done? So it's very frustrating, especially the way he was able to at least say you fired him. What the hell? Like, you can't just say you fired. Like, at least fired him. Who let him retire? Like, retire. Go ahead. Go on your merry way. Thanks for all the help, buddy.
I just another theory just jumped into my head too. There was. It was not even written on Twitter that much or anywhere by beat writers. I can't believe I didn't see it. There was hardly anybody in that stadium, period. And the camera did not show the crowd barely at all.
Yeah.
You can guarantee that ownership paid off the network to say, don't put the camera on the crowd. Don't do it.
Yeah,
I mean, good. That's what we said needed to happen. So maybe, the Judge thing kind of gets kicked to the next guy they bring in, but at least it's it's there. It's not like 3 weeks ago when he's back. He's definitely back 100%. And then, obviously the press conference happens. I think for me, those kneel downs that you mentioned, Dan, it's just, I was watching that and I've never been more embarrassed to be a Giants fan in my entire life than watching a team basically play to not give up a safety instead of trying to score a touchdown. That's where this team is at. And if you're John Mara and you sit there and you don't see how pathetic that is and see how pathetic your team is. I mean, I wish fans came like the Jaguars fans did this weekend and dressed up like clowns, because it's worse than that. It's worse than that.
They're in better position. They're a better team.
I give the fans credit for blowing this game off and giving ownership a view of what the future looks like if they keep making these decisions.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I was listening to the New York pod with John Jastrzemski, and he had Francesa on, and man,
Really?
As much as like I was done with Francesa, I really missed him, especially like in moments like these where he has some like real clout and actually knows people in the building and stuff.
Yeah.
And like of all the things he said, which was a lot of stuff we're thinking and how they need to go outside the building, outside the family. He said that the lack of fans was probably the most significant thing that could make any impression on the Maras is the building being empty, and that's the only thing they're going to react to. So that gives me a glimmer of hope that the whole thing gets blown up and Joe Judge doesn't stay on, and we empower the next GM with no connections to do something. But I don't know.
Mara's such a coward that he will, for his own volition, he'll go about that. He'll bring a GM on, and then he'll say, "Can you fire Joe? I don't want to do it."
That's what I'm thinking.
100%.
I think the same exact thing. Is it feels like even now, like I'm actually, to be honest, very shocked by how many of these notifications I've gotten of external people that they are going to ask permission to be able to interview them. I'm shocked. I mean, legitimately floored. I thought at first, the first couple, I'm like, okay, smokescreen, we get it. You're gonna, Abrams is gonna be the guy. But there's a lot of them. Now it feels very much to the point where he doesn't have it in him to get rid of Judge on his own. So he's going to go out of his way to make sure. And that's the wrong reason. And that's the whole problem. You should be going external because you need to go external, not because you need someone to come in and say, I don't like Judge, and then get rid of him. Like, that's the whole issue is like, if you are going to be the owner of this team, have some pride to do what is right for this team. And I think that shows a lot of it. I'm happy, right? So if that's what it needs for all of us fans to get someone external to come in, because that's what this team really, really needs, is someone to come in and not be within this family. And, Abrams would be such a bad choice. I cannot that infuriates me even thinking about. If that ends up happening, I don't even know how to stomach anything about this franchise. Like, if that is seriously what happens, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I really don't.
I've seen that he's not in contention for the job as well.
Good.
I've seen that leaks too. So I've seen on Twitter. I mean, I've seen that if you look at the formal interviews that they have set up, Abrams is not one of them.
Huh.
Although I'm not 100% sure if the internal interviews need to be disclosed or not.
Yeah.
Either way, there is chatter that he's not going to be the guy. And I think
that would make me feel real good. If he was
also
not even remotely asked, be like, okay, all right, well, then we know we're not going to get stuck with him. No, watch, they don't even say that they interview him, and then they go through like 7-8 guys. And they're like, nah, it's Abrams.
I'll bring him Abrams. No, but a good point, too, to make is that, they're going to go external, but the ownership is still the ownership. So what if they go external and it doesn't work? What happens then?
Then it's 35 years of the good old boys again.
Get a Corsi back in to find you somebody,
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, that was the whole thing. Wasn't bringing George Young in the first time they went outside the family, and that. Yeah. So.
Well, and that was the league. The league was actually just
the league got. That's right. I
the
remember
league
reading
stepped in
this.
was just like, you are you're one of the first franchises in this league. You can't be this bad. Please look at someone other than some guy you've known for 70 years. Please,
some guy from the country club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're one of those franchises too, where like, okay, no offense to these other, but like the Lions, you kind of always sucked. The Jaguars, you already like to see where this franchise has gone because of all the decision making is so obnoxious. It's obnoxious. It's not even disappointing because now I expect it at this point. Like, it was disappointing 7 years ago. Like, now it's just ridiculous. Like, you have gone down this black hole of absolute despair that I'm at a loss of words.
They want to talk about the Giants way this and the Giants way that. The Giants way is off a cliff at this point. You've taken a storied franchise and just put it into the toilet and flushed it.
Yeah.
God. And then, Gettleman's the plunger. Shoot it all down there. I don't know.
Oh, God, man.
The horror.
I just don't want to have to like think about his face anymore. He's got such a like old man rat face. He's so smug. He's just the smuggest, biggest schmuck I've ever seen. I'm so glad he's gone, dude.
He looks in terrible health, Dan. So I don't.
You
know,
check out those legs.
He looked like a corpse.
I sent these guys a screenshot of Dave Gettleman in shorts yesterday before the game started to really get the motions flying. He's got some weird growths. I mean, Stephie, you have a medical background. I'm sure you could diagnose it, but I think he might need to be amputated.
His life needs to be amputated.
Yeah,
He had like these like varicose veins on crack.
I just like, and also every time he like answers, he just doesn't care about anything. Like I can tell he has no passion. He doesn't care. Like he's just like, well, we're not doing like, oh God, you're annoying.
If you've been in the league as long as he'd been in the league, you know what he's talking about. Okay, so maybe if you're a professional football front office for 30 years, you can say something to Dave Gettleman.
Hog Molly's this, Hog Molly's that. Hog Molly, you didn't even draft anyone for the line. You didn't even attempt to address it in free agency. And look what we got.
Well, he signed Nate Solder. What are you talking about?
Oh, thank God.
Okay,
Thank
I
God.
mean, realistically, Dave Gettleman leaves this team with one player from his entire tenure that I want to be on the team still.
One.
Andrew Thomas.
Well,
Andrew Thomas.
I like Xavier McKinney.
Yeah, McKinney.
Aziz, I think, is fine.
Sure.
I could keep him. But yeah, I mean, it's not pretty.
I'm just saying, you have one guy that you drafted that is going to be, on this team, hopefully for the long haul. McKinney too. I'll give you that. Aziz, I'll give you that too. He's still a rookie. Let's see how that goes, though. You never know what can happen with injuries and things like that. But at this point, it's Andrew Thomas. I don't think these free agents
top 11 picks for all 4 years, right? He didn't have a pick lower than that, right?
I don't think so.
They can't even field a full team.
Yeah.
You want to talk about free agent acquisitions?
What about a cap guru? What about
the past couple weeks too. I'll turn on the game. I'm like, who is that?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Who is that? Like I have followed this
Wes
team
Martin.
with everything in my being, and I go and turn it on, and I'm like, what was he on? Because it's like someone we brought up from the practice squad because he is so inept that he could not add depth to this team. Like you went ahead, Gary Brightwell. Like I still can't get over that one.
Did he get on the field?
I'm not going to be able to live it. Yes, he was on special teams because thank God our special teams. And Judge, come on, you're the special teams guy, and our special teams is one of the worst I've seen in the entire league.
Well, I was happy to see Bachman this weekend. Give it a little bit.
Thank you. I was just going to say, what about Alex Bachman overdrive? That's
great.
Okay, you know what?
Week 18, let's go.
That was my favorite moment of the game when they were like, Alex Bachman overdrive, and then I think it was Moose or whatever. It's like, sorry guys, we just got to do something to keep ourselves entertained right now.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that's what I want to hear as a fan of one of these teams. Yeah.
As a fan of classic rock, I got a kick out of that.
By the way, can I give you an "Is This Good" real quick? Because I just did one. So Gary Brightwell was drafted before an offensive lineman named Stone Forsyth that I was kind of like hoping the Giants would get later on. He was ended up drafted by the Seahawks. His PPF grade, 68.1, is higher than Billy Price, Will Hernandez, and Matt Skura. Is this good?
It's like
Gary Brightwell came out of my alma mater. You do not want players from the University of Arizona right now, like at all. Like, great, you got Nick Foles, you got Gronk. That was so long ago. They were horrific last year. How did they go out? Oh, because Judge is like, I like it for special teams. Well, guess what? Newsflash, our special teams sucks.
They're terrible.
You also don't draft for special teams. You just don't draft for special teams.
Well, that's basically what he did nearly the entire draft. Was like, oh, maybe he can space like.
We need to find our
teams.
Matthew Slater right now.
No. If Joe Judge had his way, he'd clone Nate Edber 5 times. Ebner.
He loves him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm sure Matthew Slater in New England made him look good for so many years.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've said this before, but it's like if you're gonna be a special teams guy and then watch Riley Dixon punt every week and then think that's okay, make a move. It's a punter. Make a move.
What is Matt Dodge the punting coach? Like what?
Matt Dodge. You know what? We went to that Eagles game and we talked about it several times where, the horrible miracle of the Meadowlands too. I hate to call it that. Do you remember that YouTube video somebody made where it's like Dodge talking to Coughlin in robot voices?
Yeah.
I'm going to share that on Twitter when we're done because was amazing.
I can't believe that was the only time that I've been to a game without my dad where I called him at halftime and I was so sure we were going to win that I needed to talk to him.
That's why we lost. It's your fault.
That's why we lost. That's exactly why we lost. And I remember
Great.
leaving and feeling like, well, I hope there's an open grave somewhere. I just kind of want to jump in it right now.
Just drive right into it.
I was, you know what was funny was I was so sure the game was locked up. I didn't even see that play. I was just in the bathroom taking a piss. Well, I was listening to it on the speaker in there, and I was like, "This isn't real,
That's the
right?"
worst part. That's the worst part. Is when you're in the bathroom and it's.
I mean, let's be real. If you're gonna go to like a Giants game, I don't know about everybody out there, but I have at least like 12 beers, so I probably watch half the game and spend the other half of the game waiting in line for the bathroom.
Imagine watching a Giants game sober. I'm so sorry. No. Like I legitimately feel bad for you. If you intend to do that, like you deserve better in your life. You know what I think about a lot? The Saints game. I can't stop thinking about it. I literally can't stop thinking about it.
Can I ask you a quick, Steph? You don't think you can get drunk off one medium Pepsi for 4 people?
Oh no. Yeah. Well, it's usually the large for me. So.
Good.
That's what puts you over.
Can you imagine the ticket? You could have got a ticket for $6 to go to that game.
$6.
I said 28 last week was the going price for it. It went down to $6. That's great.
Good.
That's great.
It was 21 at Solder a couple weeks ago, and $6 to go to a New York Giants game. Do you know how pathetic that? Like that
That's
alone
so sad.
should be like. Why don't we look inside and be like, what are we doing here? Because there's obviously an issue
of ownership in this case. Apparently, Steve Tisch has taken a liking to actually be in the building and want to be a part of things.
Oh, so, good.
Yeah,
they say that
that is good.
Every year at this time of year. They say Tisch has got wants a lot of change. He wants to do stuff, and it never happens.
I honestly forget that Tisch is a person until like about this time every year.
Yeah.
Like I forget that he exists, and it's like about now, and then like kind of right before the draft, and then like he peeps in again at some point where like I hear his name. But other than that, you don't hear anything about him.
The only time I see Tisch is when I'm driving up FDR Drive and I see the Tisch building. That's about the only time I think about that guy.
Every time that Forrest Gump is on TBS, I think about him. Because
he's in there?
He produced the movie.
Oh.
He did?
Yeah.
Really? I had no idea. Wow.
Here
So
I am
both,
laughing because I was making my own joke out of that.
both Tisch and Maris have Hollywood ties. That's interesting. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, well, and that's that's what helped out the daughters to be actresses. Obviously, that was the end.
Yeah, well, when you're billionaires, you can really make stuff happen in the entertainment business for yourself. So
You mean you guys didn't like Girl with the Dragon Tattoo?
I haven't seen it.
I fell asleep in the theater. My girlfriend at the time dragged me to it. I just passed out. I also had as many beers as I did watching a Giants game to watch that movie. So if that's any consolation to myself.
I'd rather sleep through every Giants game too.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I mean, I think we need to really allow ourselves to enjoy the fact that we're never going to see Dave Gettleman ever again. And I know it's very tough and they make it very hard for us, but like, let's let it wash over us a little bit, at least for a couple of days before they screw something else up.
Yeah.
You know what we can thank him for? We have 2 first round picks this year, and that I will be thankful for. That I'm okay with. I can allow myself to not wish anything bad upon him because of that. But oh god,
I thank the Eagles for jumping ahead and getting Devon Smith, because otherwise we would have ended up with him, and we wouldn't be in any better position than we are now.
Do you know what rank Rashawn Slater is in left tackles this year?
Stop.
Do you know?
Fifth.
He's the fifth highest ranked tackle.
Oh, I know. I had him. I wanted him. I thought he was better than Penny. I thought he was going to be fantastic. And to see us not take him was so painful.
By the way, just quickly, did you guys watch that game last night?
Yeah.
That was like the best NFL game I've ever seen.
I didn't watch
fantastic.
And I love at the end that they were going to kneel down and the Chargers took the timeout and then they kicked him out of the playoffs. It was just a lot of good storylines, just a really fun game to watch. Unlike it's Dan said it the best the other week. He's like, watching other football games besides the Giants, it's like watching a different sport. And I couldn't agree more, man.
I just want to score couple touchdowns every
Yeah.
here and there. Like,
Couple.
geez, is that too much to ask? When we scored, I almost got excited. I was like, oh my, are we in the end zone? Like, is that actually happening? But
It was a
it's,
good
I
play.
mean, it's to watch some of the, you know, and people get mad on Twitter, like, no, the Giants are the worst team in the league. Yeah, we are. You guys are consistently staying in games. Like, I'm not asking for much. I'm asking for football that I want to watch, like at least be able to watch. It's very painful. They are unwatchable.
Yeah.
And that's what, you know, you see the Jaguars, they just beat the Colts. The Lions stayed in every single game. Even last year with us, we were in games. We were not in games like this, you know, and Daniel Jones going down definitely hurt us a lot. And, you know, after that, it was kind of a disaster, but, oh, God.
Can we talk about how I wouldn't be opposed to Kenny Golladay leaving the planet and not playing for our team ever again?
I never wanted him.
Yeah, I'm
never
okay with
wanted
him not being around anymore.
I think it's indicative of the coaching, honestly. I think he gave up a while ago. I mean, you could see that play was bizarre.
Well,
what
what
was
is
that? The start of the third quarter? He like didn't even have his hands in the vicinity of the ball. Like he didn't
Lay
even
out.
he
It's
didn't
the
try.
best throw that From ever threw in the NFL. Not that there's many, but that was it. That was it. Just lay out and catch the ball. It would have been great.
Because he doesn't care. Because why would he?
Oh,
They
business
also have
decision.
this creepy obsession with Slayton. Get over him.
Yeah.
Like, take him out of the playbook. I don't care anymore. Like, I'm done. And I like Slayton. I think he's great for the locker room, but I'm done with locker room guys because we're not a franchise that can have locker room guys. We need playmakers. Slayton is not a playmaker. He might have been, you know, I know he was somewhat for Daniel, but like, take him out and try to get that chemistry with Golladay. Like, what are you? I just don't understand the Slayton obsession. I will never get behind it.
It's the things
I'm
you
done.
don't see. It's the things you can't see. The
Oh,
intangible
right, sorry.
things.
Yeah.
The things you're supposed that really matter.
But like, why wouldn't you force feed a guy like that? I don't understand that. Is there like problems in the locker room in terms of like personalities? I don't know. Like, what is
But
that?
even Tony, right? Like, it's like, why are you having him play? You're having the dude throw the ball more than you're throwing him a pass. Like, what is going? There were so many confusing things. And I think last year, like, I could at least make excuses for what the thought process was. Like, why are they making this decision? Okay, this year, I legitimately don't understand 99% of the things that happen.
Yeah, and you know what? I couldn't agree with you more, and I want to bring up something that what Dan had said previously, and that I was reading about the Giants tanking in these last few games. Do you and you remember that press conference, week 17 last year, when the Eagles benched Hurts to lose the game to keep whoever out of the playoffs, Giants out of the playoffs, whatever it was. I don't remember the exact scenario. Whatever it was.
Yeah.
But either way, at the end of the game, Joe Judge said that it was Bush League, basically, and that while he's head coach of the New York Giants, they will never do that. So you can't tell me they were tanking. They're just atrocious and making the worst decisions offensively I've ever seen. Can I please bring up those two QB sneaks again? Because
let's get into Joe Judge and everything now.
Yeah.
Okay, the coaching is gone. You can't tell me that you're going to look at those plays and say, this is a winning football team. This is a winning football coach. It's essentially kneeling down. Like, I'm so confused by it. Like, I don't even know what to say. It's I'm watching this and I have my head in my hands and I'm like, what is this? What is this they're putting on the field? And then you're not going to come out and just fire this guy after the game. If I'm John Mara, I'd fire him after the game. For those two plays. Yeah, do an Antonio Brown to him halfway through the game.
And then you look at a team like that was already brought up, like the Lions, and they're doing amazing trick plays and they're winning. They're they're actually looking good. They're looking exciting. Even if they had a tie and they have a horrible record. Well, guess what? They actually like to have entertaining football. Who wants to see a QB sneak on a 2nd and 9 on their own?
My one theory is that they wanted to see what a victory formation looked like one time this year. Yep. I'm sorry, Steph, go ahead.
No, I don't know if you guys noticed this, is at one point, actually a couple times during that game, they kind of flashed to Daniel, right? And Daniel, Saquon, and I forgot who else was the other player. There was another player there. And like, the way they're kind of laughing is like, I can tell they're like, this dude's a joke. Like, it was like right after that play, and they're going, and the guys are looking at each other like they can't even fight anymore, and they can't make us believe that they want to fight. The way that they were laughing like that too, it's like, are you kidding, dude? I don't even think they would have called that play with Daniel on the field. Like, to get in a better to punt, like, what are you talking about?
A better punting formation.
Just punt on second down.
That's first down.
Yeah, fine. Just don't play the second half.
Get in a better punt position, you psycho. Like, you're literally, do you see where you are on the field? Why are you calling? And 2 in a row? Is that the worst play ever in NFL history? Like,
Yes, it is. It's the most embarrassing play in NFL history. And if you're not taking, then your players have quit or your coaches have quit. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I was going to say, if those play calls weren't like essentially like subtweeting Gettleman and essentially trying to signal to ownership that we have nothing and we can't do anything, so we might as well run QB sneaks on odd downs and odd field positions. If that's not the case, if it wasn't something like greater, if they weren't trying to, throw a coup there, and that was actually strategic football strategy that or whatever they thought to be.
And what do you want to do? Get the last quarterback on the team killed too? Like, are you seriously crazy?
Well, they got Lewecki in there. Come on.
It's total ineptness, total incompetence. I can't imagine. Is there a GM out there that would ever consider keeping Joe Judge?
No,
in their right?
Absolutely not.
And that brings me back to
unless
my
it's like
last
Chris
point.
Mara, who they're going to promote.
He doesn't want to do it, so he's gonna bring someone in who's inevitably gonna fire him, so he doesn't have to feel bad anymore.
We all separately made those points basically during the pod. Is just that John Mara wants to be the nice guy and he just wants to kick the bucket to the next guy.
Yep, which
is fine, but I'm not convinced until it actually happens because I'm so just over this ownership and just the ineptitude, and we can harp on it for a million years, but at this point, if someone doesn't come in and fix this, I don't know what to do. Is there another team out there that I can root for? I don't know. Probably not, but I'm not going to root for the Giants because there's no point.
Yeah,
why bother? Why invest any of your time or money into this franchise if someone's not going to come in from the outside and fire Joe Judge and
Ian was right when he tweeted that out about how Joe Judge is retained. Watch a lot of season ticket holders just give up their tickets. It's going to happen. Yeah. He's right.
Well, I tweeted today. Thank God. I was so close to buying season tickets. I could not be happier that I did not make that decision. I have no interest in having those tickets. I am not. I don't remember in my entire life. I was born and raised a Giants fan. I have watched nearly half the games on mute this season. And I've turned a couple games off towards the end because I can't stomach it. And for, like we have watched this franchise and you just watch the way that it's going. It's actually heartbreaking a little bit. It's really, I don't want to say it's upsetting because and John Mayer just the Mayers don't care, which is maybe the worst part.
They
do care, but they don't understand what caring actually means.
It's out of touch. It's true.
Yeah, out of touch, tone deaf. Like the definition in the dictionary, John Mayer is dumb. Deaf. I want to curse so bad.
I read
is in there.
Art Stapleton had a tweet today that sort of provides a little bit of insight, I think, into how Mariners treat people. He was talking about when they fired Jerry Reese in 2017, that he said Jerry Reese spent hours in the facility saying goodbyes behind the scenes. They didn't chase him out of the building. There were a lot of tears from what he was told. And essentially, it wasn't about Reese's resume. It was about the person. So the Mariners act on a personal basis. They fired Reese for personal reasons. They let Gettleman walk out into the sunshine, out into the sunset for personal reasons because they liked him for whatever reason. They're not motivated by production on the field. Do you not see what I'm saying, Colin?
No. I like.
Can you fill us in on the Reese personal thing? I know I had read something along those lines too, but I forget the exact circumstances involved.
I mean, I don't know the personal things. Maybe Jerry Reese told Mara to F off, and they're like, "That's it, you're gone."
That's it. You know what, Dan? Because that's right. Remember that one tweet that I shared about how I forget what the free agent was. He came to the Giants, and then his agent called John Mara an a-hole. And then John was just like, "Nah, we're not signing you."
Yeah.
It was Trent Williams called Chris Mara an a-hole. So his ex-agent, not even the current agent that he had. So he didn't want to bring him in.
Yep. Yeah. So I was just like, "Well, You're gonna make our team better? Well, I don't like you, so no.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I think we should get back to Joe Judge though.
Yes.
That reminds
It's
me
funny.
of. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, please go.
No, I was just going to say that calling Chris Marin a-hole reminds me of all the veteran free agent offensive linemen we brought in the summer. And when they got to they got to camp, they saw what practice was like. And they're like, psych, I think I'm going to retire rather than do this.
That was two separate guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that culture? Is that building community and being a real player's coach?
Well, I mean, you really have to get pumped up about, throwing a little water on the ground with a hose and diving in it. That's
running laps. It's such
Boy,
just
he's
nonsense.
So
He's a hard on.
and then you look at too the running laps things, right? I bought into it a little bit too, but then also, why is 70% of the team getting hurt? There has to be some kind of soft tissue involvement because you are working these guys nearly to death, obviously, during practice, because it's not normal. I think they have to look at the medical staff also. I hope that that's part of it. Between the medical staff and the scouting, something's also got to change. There are other pieces to this, but you know what I think about a lot too is the way that Colombo went out. And I hate Colombo. I do not think that he is a good coach. I can't stand him. But even that was such a random outburst, obnoxious piece of news that just kind of died down. And we were like, oh, Judge was right. Was he? Or is this kind of, are pieces kind of adding up now? Why did it go out that way? Is there some truth to that? So I was thinking about that today.
When Kelvin Benjamin got cut? Benjamin got cut when he said things about Judge, and I'm sure every one of us were like, this guy, just some.
You're like,
he's a tight end, he's been overweight. He was speaking truth, man.
Yeah.
By the way, Robert Sale is gone. He quit. So good for him.
He's gonna be coaching in Florida.
Yeah. Gators. Yeah, good for him. Smart business
That's a good
decision.
Point on Colombo though. That should have maybe been seen a little differently. Like we all wanted to hate on him because he's a Cowboys guy. But maybe he just couldn't take it anymore. Whatever was going on in the locker room, the stuff that we can't see, the stuff that they're fixing and building for the future. Maybe it really stinks. And anyone from the outside that they
Rob
bring in,
is ready to go out, right? Like he doesn't care. He's going to Florida. It doesn't matter. He probably was checked out week 6.
Yeah.
Like you don't know. These guys obviously don't really want to be. And you want to talk about culture. What are you building there, Judge? Where is the culture? I don't see that other than maybe brainwashing 40% of the locker room, which obviously he has because of the way that they speak to the media. But you need a staff that supports you. And even Patrick Graham, right? There was a different tone to him last season when he was taking on, maybe he's going to get an interview here. And he really shut that down real quick. This season, a little bit different. He's like, the end goal is to be a head coach. You didn't hear lines like that out of him last year. It's because he doesn't want to be here anymore. And you got to get people to want to be here. They want to buy into the system as well. And I think, Judge might get some of these guys to buy in because, he let Logan Ryan go down when his wife did this and that. Yeah. And there's a little bit more to that, right? We also need production on the field, dude.
These guys want to win games. They want to be competitive. That's why they play football.
The synergy of the past of being able to have that family feel as well as production is lost. It's very far. It's like one side of the country to the other. And it used to be very close. And now it's just not there.
I think you saw that, right? When it was the Strahan era, when Justin Tuck was there, when OC was there, that family, it wasn't family first. It was win and commitment and work your butt off and you
support
try your hardest to help the Giants to be better. And now it's like Judge wants this family friendship crap first, but no, that's why Strahan was like, no, we're not doing the off season. I'm not going to training camp. Why would I want to go? I don't even know if I want to play for this team. We're not going to win a Super Bowl. But then
he made a smart decision.
At that point, right. But then once he came back, he was like, oh, maybe we're on to something. Then you start falling in love with the locker room as a teammate. Is a little bit different. So I think Judge might have things just a little bit twisted. I get it, but you're not going back to fundamentals. How many penalties do we have to? If I see one more every time the flag goes, I'm like, I swear I'm shutting this off.
Yeah,
it's I don't really buy that the players buy into Judge. I don't think with Tom Coughlin rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, but he eventually leveled with them and they bought in and they knew that Tom Coughlin would like die on that field with them or like scream his head off and give himself a heart attack. You couldn't peel him off the field for anything. And there's nothing that Joe Judge brings to the table or has shown the players or the fans in return. You know, like what can we trust Joe Judge to do as a Giant fan or as a player? That he'll challenge the wrong play, that he'll punt in an obvious like go for it situation, that he's going to opt for the field goal when we have momentum. There's an idea of Joe Judge that he is a good coach, but he simply isn't there, right? You know, the American Psycho quote that I keep saying.
But it's almost not even his fault, right? Why did they hire someone that did not have the experience and was not ready to come into a system that was already kind of broken?
Because
Belichick coaching tree. They all
ran
fail.
his mouth in a way that was just like a giddy, like, oh, that's the kind of coach that I want for my team. I'm John Mara.
Conspiracy theory. I think that Belichick is like, yeah, go be free. And he just wants to taint every other team.
Yeah.
So that they either come back to them or they can't be good. Right. Like
he's not he's not teaching them the real stuff. He's like the smoke screens here.
Yeah.
He's like, I know that you can't do it on your own. So come back to me when you want to, I don't know.
It bolsters his own image, and he's like, "What coach can I do without the easiest? Oh, we get Joe Judge. That guy's useless.
Yeah, it's fine. Go, Joe. Be free."
He tried to kick Josh McDaniels out and say, "Yeah, you're ready. Go ahead, man."
You got Patricia. Now even Flores. I mean, not that I think that Flores should be fired, but
Flores, BS. Honestly,
I'm pissed off about that. That makes no sense.
Hey, I'll take him on the Giants.
Seriously.
Did you guys hear what that news was that Ralph Vacchiano had about Joe Judge and what part of his pitch was?
What?
Is that not only is he going to come back? Yeah, sort of, or what his goal is or his ambition is not only to come back and coach with a sterling 10-23 record, but also have a say in who the next GM is. So that's part of what he think is coming his way.
Yes, I commented on that. I think he's done enough.
Done enough.
Joe, go home. Go home.
Get out of here.
Joe,
All right.
fine,
let me hop in real quick here. NFL playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner in the NFL, is kicking things off with a huge offer. Counting down to Super Bowl 56, new customers can get 56-1 odds on any wild card team to win their game. Bet just $5 and win $285 in free bets if your team is victorious. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, which it is now in New York, and Dan's in Jersey, so we're all good. You still have something to play for this wild card weekend. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes with DraftKings daily fantasy football contest. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TPPN and get 56-1 odds on any NFL team. Bet just $5 and win $280 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code TPPN this wildcard weekend at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older. New York, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for more details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. I've done a better ad read in my life. It's that TPPN, man.
You keep saying it. You keep putting 3 P's in.
I always do 3 P's. Promo code TPPN.
There you go.
TPPPPPN.
Anyway.
Hey, great organization.
Also, I love DraftKings, and I'm going to download the app now that I can, and hopefully I'm going to win some money. But if my track record of sports gambling is any referral to this, it's not going to be great for me.
Yeah,
guys,
I don't know.
It's a great way to make a lot of money. It's really reliable income. I made $50 yesterday in our $3 bet. You can do it too.
Wow.
DraftKings. Sick.
Yeah, you can.
You should have done the ad read.
I took the under on Jake Fromm the other day because I don't know why the hell anyone thought he would throw as much as he would, and boom, there you go, easy money.
Free money.
You know what? I was happy for him with that touchdown, even though it was to Slade.
He was so happy. It was very sweet. Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? When inevitably he never plays another snap in the NFL, he can still say I threw a touchdown pass and an NFL team.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell his grandkids
Darius
that.
Slayton.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Speaking of touchdown passes to wide receivers, did you guys see this? I mean, it's common information, but Field Yates actually tied a nice bow on it. This
No,
isn't as
don't
good.
read it. Don't.
Oh, I love this one. It's so good. It's so good.
Oh,
The Giants used a first-round pick on wide receiver Kadarius Toney and made Kenny Golladay the highest-paid wide receiver in free agency by spending $72 million over 4 years. Neither scored a touchdown this season. Is this good?
I have a real fun one.
It was a very good scheme to really pull over the wool of the eyes of the NFL and be like, hey, you guys think we're going to throw touchdowns to these guys? Nope, we're not going to do it. We're not doing it. We're not throwing.
We're not even actually going to target Kenny Golladay for like.
How did Kenny Golladay not get a touchdown?
Oh, do you know the last time he has even caught a touchdown?
It's like 2 years ago now, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
Week 4, 2020.
Wow.
Is that good?
Is that
give him more money?
Okay.
What's crazy too is like, okay, Daniel Jones and whatever, fine, Daniel Jones saying whatever it is. He has a good deep ball, right? That is one of his qualities that we can say, I like that about Daniel Jones. But you don't use it, right? That you have Galladay all these weeks. Daniel Jones is still here. You're still not even using it. Nothing about the team this year made sense. Not that it made sense the past 7 years, but it really didn't make sense this year.
He can run. Yeah. they let him run. That's probably why he got hurt.
And then they get him killed, right? Yeah. It's like even the 2 QB sneaks. You go back to Sunday. That's like your last. You want Logan Ryan out there throwing the ball? Like, I don't know what your plan is. What if he gets hurt too?
What if crazy? I know we've kind of thrown this out there a little bit in terms of like where's he going to go, but like, what if for some reason Patrick Graham ends up being our head coach right now?
I want him to be.
They need an offensive-minded guy in there.
You're right.
I really think someone creative. But I do like Graham. Hopefully Graham sticks around. I think it's probably not the case, but
yeah. Set him free. He doesn't. He paid his dues.
He'd be good on the Vikings as a head coach, maybe.
They
like defensive-minded guys.
They won't take a defensive mind, though. I feel like they need offense over there.
Yeah, you're right.
True.
You're right.
Can I do my "Is this good" really quick? Because I want to hurt all your feelings.
Do it. Hit me.
So,
okay. I think I've had my feelings hurt a lot recently.
You guys see who the starting left guard for Washington football team was?
No, please don't say it. I know who it is. Don't you dare.
Former Giants first-round pick Eric Flowers. Now, Eric Flowers has a 72 Pro Football Focus rating this year, which is 20 points better than Will Hernandez and Matt Skura and 10 points better than Billy Price. Is that good?
Look at Zeitler. Look at Thomas. Go look at all these guys. Even freaking Landon Collins and Eli Apple. Oh my!
Is he still in the league?
All doing
Eli Apple.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Who's he play for? New Orleans? What is it?
Bengals, right?
Bengals. All
yeah,
right.
Him, BJ Hill's over there.
It's crazy. That Eric, I couldn't believe it. I was like, Eric Flowers is still in the league. Like I knew he was bouncing around as a backup.
Why would we? Why would we even try him out there? What's the point?
Interesting. Yeah, interesting philosophy.
It was personal, dude. It was personal.
Yeah. Thank God we got Solder, right? What a great quality player.
When you have a head that small as an offensive lineman, you can't be good.
His head's too small.
Yeah. Look at it. Next time you see him without his helmet on, you'd be like, you're not an offensive lineman in the NFL. Not a chance.
Yes, it is.
Well, he won't be next year.
We couldn't take Eli Apple's mom anymore, honestly. It was a little much.
Put her on the line.
Yeah.
Might be fine. I mean, we kind of went a little wild here. Do you guys want to talk about GM candidates, or should we push that to a later episode? I don't know when someone's going to get hired.
Yeah, I mean, we could run them down real quick.
Sure. I'll just throw out there the guys who are going to get interviewed or have been requested for interview. Yeah. So Ryan Poles, the Kansas City Director of Player Personnel, got Ryan Cowden, Titans Vice President of Player Personnel, Monty Ossenfort, which is Titans Director of Player Personnel, and then Joe Schoen, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I've heard different pronunciations, who's the Bills' assistant GM.
Yeah.
Quite a couple good names out there, and I'm pleased about all of them except for Ossenfort because him and Judge have ties in New England, and I don't want Judge to stick around. Okay. I mean, among those guys, anybody else out there that like you want to see them bring in, or if you had to pick one of those guys, who would it be? Colin, you want to start?
Anybody else? What's funny though is like those were the names that we've talked about this. There's not that like golden boy that's standing out there that's excited you. Man, you know how in like years past it's just like, oh, that guy's gonna get the job somewhere and it's gonna be incredible. That doesn't really happen. I mean, maybe it's just because I feel like we are not in line to lure any of them, because why would they even be interested? But like, I was actually surprised to see that these names were on the at least request list, because that's I don't know, that's pretty much what I would be looking for. I don't even know who would want to leave to come.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're all assistants, right? And getting free reign to build the Giants essentially from scratch.
2 first-round picks is a big pull.
We have the second highest
job.
draft equity in the entire draft coming up. I don't know. I have some thoughts. I think Joe Schoen is probably the front runner in my head out of this names, because look at the team they built in Buffalo.
Yeah,
they're solid offense and defense. They built a team, from relatively nothing, in the past 6 years. They've identified talent in every position class. Also, his connection to Brian Daboll, who I would love as our head coach, would be incredible. But then again, like, is he ready? Is that something he wants? I don't know. I don't know him from a hole in the wall. So who's to say? And I always shout him out every time we talk about GMs, but someone not on the list that I would love to interview is Ed Dodds from the Colts.
Sure.
I think assistant GM there. Again, another team that, sort of just consistently finds great talent and puts people in the right spots to succeed in their respective roles. And he finds talent deep in the draft, not necessarily, hitting on just like first rounders. They find people throughout the draft and have deep rosters on their team. So those are names I like. I mean, anybody, like quite literally anybody on this earth is an upgrade. So it's all gravy. I just don't want to limit our search for something with Joe Judge in mind, picking one of like his like friends that he's comfortable with. That's insane.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyone sticking out to you, Steph?
Poles is interesting to me from he was a lineman standpoint, and because of our need for that so direly.
Boston College too. We got to bring that up.
Yes,
always Giants related.
Yeah, so that intrigues, and I thought he did have some kind of overlap with Judge. I don't know what it was. I saw something about that today, but it may not be. But even, I was surprised about, I don't know if you saw Peter Schrager tweet out that they also sought permission for Adam Peters, and there was one other person from San Francisco, and then also Adrian Wilson, who is the guy for the Cardinals. I think he's VP of personnel, maybe. But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot. They really were aggressive today. I actually did not see another team that was as aggressive as us asking for permission to interview. So, and it sucks because I used to be like, oh, let me trust the process. No, I don't trust the process. So I don't want to get excited about any of these guys because I think I'm going to get my heart broken when Abrams is our.
Certainly will, yeah. I think no other teams made announcements because they already put their requests in to interview these people like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys one more question before we wrap up. Kevin Abrams, would any team in the NFL with an opening for a GM consider him for a position?
0.
No.
None. Why?
And that just goes to show you where we're another example of where we're at as a franchise right now.
And Judge is like advocating for him.
I wouldn't trust him to pay my taxes.
Judge is advocating for him the same way the players are advocating for Judge. The only players advocating for Judge are players that can't play anywhere else. Judge is advocating for Abrams because he's the only one that's going to let him stay as head coach.
Yep.
That's true.
Survival.
But I mean, if I just want to throw my 2 cents in there, I think I like Poles. He's 36 years old. He's a young dude. He's been in KC for 12 years. Their roster is good. Yeah. Really, what they were doing well with Alex Smith at quarterback. They just needed that. I mean, obviously Mahomes is a transcendent player in the NFL, but they needed a quarterback to get over the hump. And then look at what happened when they did. And I just would love a focus on, bringing this team into the modern era. And I like the young guys.
And we built that offensive line in one season.
Easily.
4 players they replaced.
Yeah, and I mean, Schoen to me is also a good one because, Dan, I mean, you brought up before, but I just think the way they rebuilt that roster after being such a maligned franchise for so long is impressive to me. Mm-hmm. So to me, those 2 guys would be great. And I'm glad they're coming in for interviews. And I hope that it's, whoever comes in can fire Judge, fix this absolute train wreck. I think train wreck is probably like an understatement at this point.
Quick question. Who interviews them when they come in? Do they speak to John Mara? Like,
yeah,
because who's not going to scare anyone away? I was like, keep John away. Just don't let him speak to anybody.
It's Abrams and Judge doing the interviews.
Oh.
They gotta like bring in like Strahan to do the interviews or something.
Yeah.
And what if, like, but you know what the worst part is? Oh, they asked for permission. That's the key word. They asked for. What if they say I don't want to?
Probably.
Like, what if they don't want? Why would you want to come to this team? I
Steph,
don't know.
let's just live in the world where they all accept and they're all coming. Let's enjoy it for today.
No,
I
I
actually
think
wasn't as stressed when I started this podcast, and now I am increasingly getting more stressed.
I think there's plenty of reasons that you want the job in New York. One, if you come into the interview and they tell you that you can fire a judge, then that no longer hamstrings your search, because I think that's the number one thing hamstrings. Second, we mentioned before, there's 2 first-round picks. Third, you're in one of the major markets in America and with one of the most historic franchises in the NFL. I think it's a job that people
will
want.
never fire you. Yeah,
exactly. You know, you can, and if you suck it up for 4 years and do the worst possible job imaginable, you could just retire off into the sunset with your family, taking photo ops on the sideline. There you go.
exactly.
And I think with that, we'll end it tonight. Thank you guys for listening. Please, guys, follow Big Blue United, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pigskin Podcast Network at the Pigskin Pod Net on Twitter. Don't forget to give Stephie a follow if you aren't already. And please give us a follow at our new Twitter handle at BBU Podboys. And, oh yeah, I forgot. Email Dan, bigblueunitedpodcast@gmail.com. Or I guess you can DM us now. You can just DM us if you want.
Because he's the only one that checks the email.
That's right.
Yeah, it's him. All right, let me unhide your face here. And thank you guys for listening. Steph, thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
as
thanks
always.
a lot, Steph.
Glad to have you on again.
Therapeutic.
And have a great night, everybody.
Good night.
Later, Davey.
Bye, Dave. Bye, Joe. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.